what we're doing is a surface penetrating radar survey, which is a remote sensing technique, which is particularly adept at identifying foundations and other features below the ground surface. So we're hoping that that information is going to kind of help us focus our investigations for the remainder of the field season.
Using the surface penetrating radar unit, which is the latest technology in geophysical prospecting, we have discovered the exterior hearths to 2 additional slave houses that were part of this slave village, which we now know consisted of at least 6 houses in a row here on the plantation of L'Hermitage. The fact that we were able to find 2 additional houses to the 4 that we had come upon using traditional archaeological excavation techniques is quite exciting, and we've now filled out the village to include at least 6 houses, and that to us is a major feat.
Where we're able, we'll mark those and we'll actually go ahead and ground truth them. In other words, dig a small hole right there on the spot to see if we're starting to come down on something. That's what we did over here, where they had picked up an anomaly that they thought might be a hearth feature. We dug one small hole and came right down on mortar and stone. So that's the way these features have been manifesting themselves so far.
The main thrust of what we're trying to do here is to learn more about this community of enslaved laborers. Everyone knows that slavery was a horrible, cruel institution, and that people who had to labor under that yoke had a very, very difficult time of it. But when they weren't working for their owners, they did manage to eke out their own personal lives, and that's what we're excited about learning, is more about what their daily lives were like when they weren't working for their owners, but when they were here in their houses, tending the garden plots that were adjacent to them and interacting with one another, again, without being under the watchful eye necessarily of the owner.
We'll continue with our field work probably through September. We will try to determine and find out as much information as we're able about this particular site, and then this fall and winter we will be analyzing the data and putting together a final report that'll detail the results of the investigations. We're also going to be working on developing some interpretive programs and probably some web-based exhibits that'll talk about this project and what we found so far.